Hello, welcome to It's Sybil. I am Sybil Wilkes, and it's me and the guys. So if you hear any noise, it's just me and the boys. Oh, yes. Hello, Damon Williams. How are you?
Hello, Sybil Wilkes. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. And Ned, thanks for joining us today. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing quite well. Took a nap.
Oh, that's what that feels like. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
I'm at that age. Oh,
Well, man, I'm past that age and I still can't take a nap. So I don't know what that means for me. I'm not a napper.
right,
I've
man.
never been a napper.
And
But I know you.
hold on. And you work the morning show.
Yeah.
Every single time I work the morning show, if I stop moving, I passed out. It was the morning show
Wow.
had me wrecked.
I am so envious of that. I know Damon is a napper too. Damon can fall asleep just about anywhere. I've seen him. do it.
Yeah, like
Uh,
like on this show, if y'all don't keep me up,
That's right.
I'll be like this. Hey, all right, okay. I have narcolepsy. I can take a nap driving.
Oh my.
Hey, look, hey Damon.
Speaking of which,
I've done that before. I was driving from Chicago, heading back out to the suburbs, and I said I blinked twice, and somehow the Sears Tower is back in front of me.
Yeah, man.
Don't remember getting off. Don't remember getting back on. All I know,
right.
the city was right back in front of me. I'm like, how did we get here? How did we get here?
So one time when I was working in Wisconsin, I was driving back home to Chicago and I was really tired. It was late and I should have just not gone that night. But anyway, I'm driving back to Chicago and all of a sudden I saw like major dinosaurs and triceratops and brontosaurus and stuff. They were all coming at me. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh my God, it's time to pull over. And try to get my head right with coffee and all that other kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It-
Ain't nothing worse than seeing that stoplight on the expressway. Nothing worse than seeing that stoplight on the expressway. Oh, I guess I got to come to a complete stop right here. Car just driving by. What is he doing? Oh yeah, that's right. I'm sorry.
That's
Yeah,
me.
it sound like you was off the mushrooms or something, bro. Yeah, mine is induced by lack of sleep. Yours seems like it's been enhanced.
Enhanced, right?
I mean, it's a well-known fact for people that know me that I had an accident like that once before, and I actually crashed. So I always recommend people get over because I was bogus. I ain't had no license, no insurance. I tried to leave, but my car was like, I went to jail.
Oh my God.
I really
Oh
did.
my God.
Like a dummy. I should have got out. I should have gotten out and ran. I reported my car stolen. Like, hey, a little bald head dude in the blue shirt. But I sat there and waited on the police like a dumb. Actually, I went on and took a nap. I'm like, well, since I can't go nowhere, but I will sleep now. But I'll be comfortable before I get this cell.
Before I had to go to jail. Right.
So did y'all hear about the lady that was caught driving on an LA freeway, sleeping in one of the driverless Tesla cars?
Yeah.
And they took video of her, and they haven't found her yet.
Right.
But yeah, LA police can't find this woman who was.
Yeah, and they say people were riding alongside her like for 15 minutes trying to wake her up.
Yeah, honking.
Which is a great commercial for Tesla, I guess. Since not only did she not crash, but it escaped.
Which is a whole
Went
other
into stealth mode. Yeah. Not only can you break the law, you can avoid them too.
Took off.
Tesla.
And it was going like 50, 55 miles an hour on the freeway.
Yeah, that's very dangerous for us all.
Crazy.
I mean, you know.
It is.
Man, and I'm no Elon Musk fan, but that car, I guess, has proven its worth just with that alone. Yeah, she's Louise. I sound like that little 16-year-old girl didn't want a car. All right,
Yeah.
so
I hope that was a prank.
so that's a question that we will ask a little bit later on. But if you haven't seen it, there is a TikTok video of a mother gifting her 16-year-old daughter with a Tesla for her 16th birthday. Little girl didn't want any parts of it. She don't want a car you got to plug up to drive. She wanted a Mercedes Benz, and so then all of the comments began.
Yeah,
I wondered if it was true myself, but that's for another time. We'll bring that up a little bit later.
Yeah.
Maybe.
After her funeral.
Right. You got a Tesla? You look.
Okay, okay, you're lucky to still be living. You're
Man.
right. You're right, Damon. After her funeral. All right, guys, let's move to the What You Need to Know newsletter. This is our Monday through Friday newsletter. It is absolutely free. We'd love for you to be a part of it, where we super serve the African American community with our stories. We talk politics, we talk coronavirus or health related items. We have social justice as well as LGBTQ plus and mental health and wellness stories that are available to you thanks to our young contributors. And we have HBCU Corner talking about what's good in the HBCU hood and little known Black history facts. And today we would like to talk a little bit of politics as we are preparing for the president's second State of the Union address to the nation, taking place as we are recording this tonight, Tuesday. And it is it's coming at an interesting time because the president's numbers, according to one poll, Med, as you know, close to 60% of the people polled in this Washington Post ABC News poll, they're not happy with anything the president has done. And less than half of that are seemingly pleased with his actions. I don't know if you guys want to share with where you stand on this, but he gives a pretty good laundry list of things that he's done that has helped this country, and not the least of which is the infrastructure and trying to bring back the infrastructure, thus giving people's jobs, the earned child tax credit during the pandemic era, as well as other forms of payment that people were receiving, PPP. Some people took advantage of that and didn't go well. But there are a number of things that Joe Biden is going to rattle off in the State of the Union address as he ramps up to what everybody is waiting for. Are you going to run or not, Joe? And that leads us to another question. So where do you guys stand on this? What do you think about the president? Well, he doesn't run. He has a slow trot.
Whenever he runs, it gets very sketchy. Be careful. Joe starts moving quick. The MIPS.
Right.
Until the price of these eggs come down, he'll never get approval numbers.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Let's start right there. I mean, it doesn't matter what he did. To be honest, it doesn't matter what he did during the pandemic, how much money he gave out, PPP, all that stuff. It doesn't matter because right now people are hurting and people are seeing the prices of everything go up. So they're going to blame him for that. And everything, and a lot of times, and I always say this about presidents, is what they do while they're in office usually is not felt honestly for 2 to 3 years.
Right.
So we're sitting in a situation where we're waiting on something to happen, and whatever he's doing is not going to make it happen. In Georgia, the governor did the gas tax, took the gas tax off. We saw that immediately. We saw that man, gas has dropped 50 cents just like that. And then we saw when he added it back in. Ooh, it jumped back up another 50 cents. So, when you have things that can happen immediately, it helps. And so we're not going to be able to tell what Biden has done for us until 2 or 3 years from now. And we're not that patient because we're still sitting in this. Inflation is still going up. They're talking about increasing the interest rates.
Yeah, they're going up again.
Trying to fix inflation, but you're trying to send. I'm just like, I understand why people are upset. I get it, but we're coming out of the pandemic.
With that analogy, then these are all Trump effect issues. If it's 2-3 years after your presidency, so it's very interesting. People are hurting, but people are surviving. I believe we have historically low unemployment numbers that just came out.
Well, we don't.
People do, or the nation,
humans.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like when they were in the recession, when we knew people were getting fired and losing jobs, and everybody we knew around us was searching for work and look for work. You can still see hiring signs. Not that I'm advocating for Joe's job or that he's done a good job, but I know it could be a lot worse right now, and they're predicting it just may be. So who knows where the tide turns going forward. But right now, the biggest issue is inflation and how it's hurting people's pockets to put food on the table and gas in the tank and make it back and forth to, even if you have a job, to get there. That's what we're seeing, the real issue right on the kitchen table issues, I would say.
Yep.
So one of the questions regarding the prices of things, we've always talked about, or always have heard conversations about collusion amongst the oil companies, setting the price and making the people have to pay that. Do you think that's possible in the dairy industry, in the egg industry, in terms of the price of eggs and how you like paying $8 for a dozen eggs in some places?
I just think the chickens are fighting back, Sybil. They like, we're sick of y'all snatching our babies. You're taking our babies, you're eating our wings. The chickens have had enough. They spread bird flu amongst themselves. And come on, they're killing our babies and they're taking our wings. And then, I mean, when you think about it, there was a processing plant that caught on fire where 100,000 chickens just got burned. So that could have been definitely, you know. So
that all of that is why the price of everything that part of chicken is up. The egg, the wings, the thighs, the feet, everything, the beaks. You know, it's all, even the dry breast.
Right.
Prices are going up.
Hey, breakfast is about to be a thing of the past if these eggs don't go down. The next generation of kids are not even gonna know what breakfast is. They're gonna be like, "Good morning, here's your grilled cheese."
Right.
I want an egg McMuffin. No, the hell you don't. You want this grilled cheese and go to school.
Or pretty soon they're gonna know the beauty of water with your cereal.
Exactly.
It's gonna be a lot of that. It is gonna be interesting to see not only how he is received in the joint House and Senate meeting tonight. A number of other questions are the Supreme Justices going to be able to stay awake? Because you know they're famous for one of them nodding off, or two. And the other thing is, how will the Republicans perform? And I do say perform because one of the stories that's come out about the very thirsty Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh gosh.
She's been I know. I'm sorry. I should wash my mouth out with soap for mentioning that name, shouldn't I, Ned? She says that the president needs to apologize to America for the Chinese spy flight crisis. And so she's been trolling him and trolling the halls of Congress with a helium balloon in an effort to troll the president over his response to the Chinese spy balloon shoot down.
Okay.
Well, she said it was just an innocent white balloon. She said it was just an innocent white balloon. She posted to her Twitter account in which she showed her walking around the Capitol building holding the balloon. And in an interview with Fox News, who else is going to interview her over this ridiculousness?
Nobody.
She brought the balloon to work. Because she says this crisis is the number one thing that Biden needs to address during his speech tonight. Go ahead, man.
The State of the Union is all dramatics.
Right.
Everyone is trying to steal the headlines. Everybody wants their 30 seconds of this night. This is a night where, you know, they get the most cardio they get all year long. They're going to be doing squats all night long, and the Republicans are going to be sitting on their hands.
Right, partisan squats.
Man, partisan squats are going to be real tonight. And then, of course, you're going to see the new Speaker of the House, and you're going to see what his reaction is. Because, you know, we've had Bonner turn, you know, from red, purple to blue. Yeah. You know, we've had Nancy Pelosi tear up speeches and clap. So now we get to see what the new Speaker of the House, how he's going to look and pretend to be angry while President Biden is talking. So this is all dramatics, all that. Miss Greene can go somewhere because she is a nut. And the worst part about it, where's the district that she is representing, is that there's a bunch of nuts and they love her. She's literally representing, she's doing her job. She's representing her district because there's a bunch of nuts up there that think the same way she does.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, Sybil mentioned being concerned about the Supreme Court justices staying awake. We need to be concerned about Joe staying awake. I don't know if you ever noticed, but Joe takes naps at the podium. His eyes, he's awake and sleep at the same time. And whenever he dozes off, he mentions, and I remember back in Scranton, he'll pull Scranton out of his butt. That always gets him back on track when he can't get the teleprompter going right. So let's keep Joe up, then worry about who else is awake during this situation.
I've always
So
wondered why they try to do these things at 9 o'clock at night, Eastern
that
Standard.
is a bit late.
Why
Yeah.
do we do this? And they had
we had younger presidents when they started doing this.
Because you remember when him and Trump had the debate and it started like at 9:30?
Yeah,
I'm like, they
yeah.
ain't gonna make it. They ain't gonna make it. Not at all.
Donald Trump just stayed up for his next Happy Meal, I guess.
Exactly. It was snack time for him.
Right, exactly. Another thing I do want to talk about is Cameron Riley is giving us a look back at some Black history and informing the folks and talking about how inventions by Black inventors have made our lives easier. Amongst the topics that he talks about is the person that made the automatic door close on the elevators, who created this. And this is Alexander Miles. Prior to his design in 1867, the patent that he got, riders had to manually open and close 2 sets of doors. You remember, you guys are probably too young, but when I was a little girl, they used to have the elevator guys. They would run the elevators up and down.
Right. One was like a gate, and the other one was the door. Yeah.
Yep. And this is what this was his job, was to close both of these things, close the gate and the door, as Damon said. Now with this, he put elevator guys out of business, who were just, that was their job. So it was very dangerous too, because if you forgot to close one of the doors, it could lead to a person perhaps falling into that gap in the floor and falling through the elevator shaft. But as it goes, Mr. Miles created a mechanism that forced both elevators doors to close simultaneously, thus preventing dangerous accidents and putting some people out of work. There was also Thomas L. Jennings, who was a businessman and a tailor, and invented what we now know as dry cleaning. The money he earned from his invention, the formerly enslaved person both donated to abolitionist causes and even reportedly freed his still enslaved family members. This was when he applied for the patent in 1820.
Wow.
So that's a big deal. Although he doesn't really explain how the dry cleaning thing started, because it still kind of confuses me too. When I take things
we
to
still
be
don't know
dry
how that works.
Right.
Are we saying that in dry cleaning that nothing gets wet?
Wet. Or is it a little damping?
All I know is it costs a lot of money to get it done. But things come back clean and it's pressed, and I don't complain. I'm
with you, man. And I'm also curious about how some dry cleaners charge more for women's things than they do for men's things, as well as the fact that some cleaners just apply the same price for every piece of clothing, and while others, that's going to cost you $16.50 while down the street. So is it the quality? What is the process?
They don't like them sequins. Like, they don't like sequins. They don't like studs. They don't like bedazzled. They don't like none of that stuff. Like, we can't have that go off in the machine. I'm like, where's the machine at? I just want to know how does this work? How are you cleaning things dry?
Well, I think what happened was he was playing dress up in his master's clothing and steal something. And master was coming up the street. He said, "Oh snap! I got to get this clean and dry right away, right away." And he figured out a method. And ever since then, we've had George Jefferson.
Right. Moving on up.
And did he have a picture of Mr. Brown in his cleaners,
in his 5 locations?
Right, in Manhattan. And the last person is Marie Van Britten Brown, who was created the early ring system. She gave us the home security system more than a century ago. Feeling unsafe due to her neighborhood's high crime, the full-time nurse rigged a motorized camera to record her home entryway and project images onto a TV monitor. After filing to patent the closed-circuit TV security system in 1966, she received her approval in December of 1969. That's pretty cool, too. So thank you, man,
wow.
for that.
Negro rigging a security system. I love it.
Yeah.
I guess how a lot of these inventions got started.
Exactly.
Negro rigging. That's what we did.
That's what we did, and that's what these people have shown us that it does work. Absolutely.
And I'm sure they made her the leader of the block club too, because she had all the footage.
She had all.
She was block club president as well, and that should be in the notes.
Emeritus, exactly. All right, so that is what we have. Just a couple examples of what we have in the What You Need to Know newsletter. We would love to have you subscribe. It's still free in 2023. Please go to SybilWilkes.com and give us your name and your email address, and we'll have it in your email box every Monday through Friday morning. Okay, guys, I think I have an interesting question for you today, and I chose this especially for this day with the two of you here. And this is our What's Going On question. Best friends Michael Jordan and former bestie Charles Barkley have not spoken in about 10 years. I'll give you the tea on what happened, and folks who don't know, give you the information on that. But I want to find out from two guys who I'm assuming you have friends, if not best friends. Does this sound believable to you that they haven't spoken in 10 years? Is this only a rich dude's problem, or is this only a problem if you have a friend with the ego of Michael Jordan?
No, it's a Michael Jordan problem.
It's a Michael Jordan problem.
Oh, this is a Michael Jordan problem right here. He's sensitive.
Yeah. So here's the story. The last time Charles Barkley spoke with Michael Jordan was over 10 years ago, when after a broadcast, Jordan apparently told Barkley to go F himself. Yes. Barkley and Jordan were best friends up until the NBA on TNT host criticized Jordan's role as an NBA executive in a 2012 interview. Barkley, who was a TNT analyst, said Jordan was not doing a great job as an owner of the then Charlotte Bobcats. Barkley said Jordan called him over his comments, and after an unpleasant exchange, they have never spoken again. He went ballistic. He called me, and the last thing I heard was, MFer, F you, you're supposed to be my boy. I said, man, I got to do my job. We haven't spoken since that night. And that was probably close to 10 years ago. This is what he told to the Bleacher Report. And also he told this to Tom Brady, and probably gave Brady some ideas on his podcast. And he said that he feared Jordan would not be successful because of the people he surrounded himself with, and said it wouldn't be fair to criticize other coaches and general managers and give his best friend a pass. Barkley also shared the same explanation with Tom Brady during his podcast. He said, I thought it would blow over, to be honest with you. And he's stubborn. I'm stubborn. And that's it.
I mean, Barkley's not stubborn to this point. Like, Barkley would be fine having like, he's used to people calling him an MFer. You know,
right.
Plenty of stories of different athletes calling him an MFer. So Barkley will get over that quickly. It's the fact that Jordan, and they were really, you remember them back then. They were tight, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Especially if you think about the 92 Barcelona Olympics.
Yeah.
Them two were tight. They were on Oprah together, and they were busting each other's chops. It was a really, really dope friendship to see back then. And so for Mike to get this sensitive over his friend, because what it was that Barkley was saying that that Michael was surrounded by a bunch of yes men, right. and that Mike and they don't know how to tell him no. And so they're leading him down the wrong path because he's coming up with ideas that are bad. And they're just saying, yeah, Mike, you're the greatest. Go ahead and do it. It'll work out. And he's saying that just, that's going to keep on hurting Mike if he surrounds himself with yes men. I get it. It didn't sound good. It's your friend who's supposed to have your back. But, it's been 10 years. You can't hold a grudge. But then it's Michael Jordan, and that's what he does. If you ever seen his Hall of Fame speech, that's all he did for his Hall of Fame speech was basically rattle off people that pissed him off his entire career and how he got and how he showed them. So it's Mike.
And we watched The Last Dance too. So
Mike.
Yeah.
People want to see him and Isaiah bury the hatchet. It's not happening. Mike ain't doing it. It's Mike.
I'm glad his ex got her money. Yes, Damon.
Well, yeah. I mean, I can understand his stance on that, considering he was the first Black NBA owner, just coming into his position, just learning what he's trying to do, trying to, be on the forefront, and to be criticized, it'd be different if it was, one of the white commentators that went after him, which you would expect. But for your boy, like your brother, to go on TV and say these are things he should have said behind the scenes, in Mike's opinion, I'm not saying he should still hold a grudge, but Charles is talking about this now because Charles wants to mend the friendship and he misses his boy. Mike could care less. He's moved on to all his, elite owner friends now. He's in a different circle. He feels above the fray. But it's unfortunate anytime you lose a great friendship. Because I had a best friend of mine used my name when the police stopped them and caught a whole case on me, and we made up. And I could have, to this day, I had to carry my paperwork around saying that I'm not him. And then he went and died. So now I they said until we catch him, we can't take that off your record. So I'm like, but he's dead. So I can tell you exactly where he is.
I can show you.
Free my name. But
oh my God.
Yeah, true story, man. Because our birthday, we share a nephew. My brother, his sister, is my nephew's parents, and so he knew all my stats. And plus, we were brothers. Like our birthday, we were born exactly 1 week apart, so it was not hard for him to rattle off the information. And he didn't tell me. That's the one thing, he could say, "Man, I got caught up," and I had to say I was you. You might want to let him know. I didn't find out until I fell asleep driving my car. And the warrant came up when the police came. But that's still my brother, man. God bless, and may he rest in peace. James Henry Turner, June Turner. You got me though, boy. But that with that Mike and Chuck thing, you would think fellas historically bury the hatchet a little quicker.
Yeah.
Ladies tend to hold grudges in those type of circumstances. I never talk to her again, but dudes be like, let's go have a beer and squash this, man, or punch it out, do what we got to do and move forward. So like you say, Mike is an egotistical guy. I have an example of one of the times I experienced Michael Jordan. It was his wife's birthday party, and we were out on this rooftop, and it was a multi-tiered rooftop, and he was coming down the steps, and he stumbled right in front of me, and I grabbed the small of his back, and I caught him. And he's like, "Oh, I was good, bro. I wasn't gonna fall. I'm graceful." And he ain't say thank you or nothing. He's like, you ain't do me no favor. I'm graceful. And walked off like, girl, I should have let you bust your front tooth out.
Right.
Damon was like, "I'm about to push you down the rest of these stairs."
Man, and people don't believe I had these type of stories with these type of great people, but it just these type of things happen in over the course of my career, because I knew I needed very well and her whole family. They Southsiders. So that's why I wasn't invited to the party by Mike, but I was there and I helped that dude keep from falling on his ass.
And embarrassing the hell out of himself, yeah.
Not him. I wasn't gonna fall. I'm graceful. That's my Michael Jordan, by the way. I wasn't gonna fall. I'm graceful. McRib, can I get some barbecue sauce? If y'all ever saw that McRib commercial, that's why he don't talk in this commercial, because he's like, "Can I get some barbecue sauce?" After that, they never let him talk. He just was dunking and dribbling.
He comes.
David Falk was very smart in that. No, he doesn't speak. He does not speak in any commercials.
No lines for Mike.
So the question, I guess for people who are watching, we'd like to know, have you ever had a friendship that has broken over and you've not spoken in years and years and years? Or is this only exclusive to the Rich Boys Club like Michael Jordan, and is it more of an ego-driven thing? And this is for women as well as men. I think you're right, Damon, and that it is more of a woman thing. It's more of an emotional situation and holding grudges and things like that. I'm saying this as a woman because
but the stubbornness does come in from the male side. I will say that.
Right.
Yeah.
But so I'm just curious how people who are watching and listening feel about this. Does this make sense to you? And have you experienced the same sort of thing?
Yeah. Let us know if Henry and Hubert made up over Ethel from the 3rd grade. And he still ain't talking to Henry no more since then.
Right.
He asked her out to the dance before him, and they ain't been friends since. Let me know if they made up.
I know that I hold grudges against people who do something to my best friend, but I can't say that I've had a best friendship in which I have held grudges with that person and not spoken to them for a long period of time. I don't understand that, but I hold grudges against people who've done wrong to Yolanda because she has such a poor memory and she needs to be reminded of how these people have done her wrong. So that's what I'm good for. Why don't I? Because I'll tell you why.
Right.
This is what they did.
And I've squashed situations with people, but the relationship is never the same. And if I can avoid interacting with them to this day, I do. but I'm cordial, if I'm forced to be in the presence. But yeah, once you put one, like my answer said, once somebody shows you who they are, believe them.
Right.
Hey,
Exactly.
Damon,
Right.
Damon,
Yeah.
again, this is just from our history, me knowing your history a little bit, just being a comedian
Uh-huh.
and knowing some of your, knowing some of your friends. I've heard stories about the comedian circles and how things can go left.
Yeah.
Is that a situation where, it's usually contained to that, where like some professionalism went left and it's like, hey man, now
Or
you messing with my
stealing your jokes, or that kind of thing.
and it's like
I mean,
you're messing with my livelihood, basically.
in this realm, there's a lot of factors that can lead to you being isolated. Somebody could try to undercut you for a gig.
Right. To get back
Someone could. That's one thing they can do. The joke stealing thing, it depends on how you feel about that, because, if somebody, you can't police your material, but if
Mhm.
somebody is blatantly doing your set, then you definitely want to approach them about that and tell, hey man, knock it off. Because people have told me like verbatim, like, no, dude, there's no way he's doing your joke. He started doing it as soon as you left here. And it's usually like a opening act type dude, and you leave town and then they start
Mhm.
doing your material. You talk that up to inexperience and lack of ethics. But overall, man, the comedy community it's a strong fraternity, and
right.
including women sorority as well.
Mhm.
We pretty much get along and look out for each other, unless people start stealing opportunities. Bernie and Steve had a notorious beef between them, Steve Harvey and
Mhm.
Bernie Mac, and that really never did get squashed. And it became public when Bernie did the interview in GQ magazine. And so, it happens for sure.
Right. Man.
But Damon, you're one of the most generous comedians, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again. One of the most generous comedians, and that I know of, in terms of taking people under your wing, kind of guiding them through when you book them in your club and things like that, and being very mindful of their future, their position, and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's not something you see a lot in this business, or at least not as much as perhaps we should.
Well, because a lot of people in this industry feel like every opportunity is meant for them, and if someone else gets it, that's something they didn't get, or a lot of people feel like they are worthy of an opportunity that they're not
Mm.
ready for, and so it's a really tricky realm. So there are a couple of comedians that I won't work with, and I had to tell them to their faces that I'm not booking you because it's unpleasant. I'm not gonna fake it
Mhm.
with you. One
Yeah.
particular guy, he went by comedian RoboCop, and he moved overseas, and then he came back, right, and he was funny, but he had crossed the line that you really don't cross. And he hit me up like, man, what I do? Whatever it was, it had to be a long time ago. Just tell me what I did. I said, it don't even matter, brother. I just personally prefer not to work with you. And I'm telling you to your face, to your ear,
Right.
because I don't even want, it's a couple of instances. So one of them kept calling and texting and calling and texting. So he finally blocked his number and called. and I was like, God. So, but once he asked me, I told him, like, bro, I don't even remember the circumstance, but I remember the last time I booked you, I said I'd never do it again. So, you may have grown from this, and I might even give you another shot, but that's why I'm not talking to you, because I don't want to. And I'm
Right.
entitled not to talk to everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's
people, if you got something that's toxic, or you got to fake it to be around the people, then avoid it. And you know what I'm saying? It's nothing wrong with that.
right. Renita Bland, our friend on Facebook, said, I had a friend say she was just so busy and bad about calling. I haven't called her again. We're just Facebook friends now. I'm not grudgeful, just giving the same energy I get. I get that.
That can sting a little bit when you noticed that you're the friend that's always
Always placing the
reaching
calls
out
or
and
initiating something.
yeah, and it's just like, wait a minute, let me just see what happens if I don't initiate. And I'm like, my phone dry.
And to be honest,
Ain't
and
nobody
I understand the other person's stance on that, because I have people I love that sometimes I just don't feel like talking to. I hate when my phone rings almost every time. Like, hey, ma. I am joking, mama. I gotta get these punchlines here.
Cora Lee on YouTube says, I had not spoken to my niece from 2009 to 2022. The only reason we spoke in 2022 was regarding a small inheritance. Yeah, money will bring that. Money
How
will
about
bring
that?
that. Yeah.
But man,
Money or property.
the family stuff is so tricky to me. That is so when it's a family member. I remember when my aunt was mad at me for something, like I didn't call her or something like that, and it was one of my closest aunts. I always go see her in Miami. Whenever I was in Miami, I didn't stay at a hotel. I stayed with her. You know what I'm saying? And it was just one day, boom, like cut me off.
What did you do?
I have no idea, but she's the aunt that does this to her own children. You know what I'm saying? Like when I'd call my cousins, I'm like, hey man, what did I? She's like, you know how mommy is. Don't worry about it. Give her about 2 years and you'll be all right. I'm like, 2 years? And literally 2 years later, she called me like we have been. She goes, hey sweetie, how you doing? I'm like,
auntie,
right.
We good? Yeah, why wouldn't we? I'm like, you know what? No, we're good. Whatever it is. I'm okay.
Wow.
It's just
wow.
2 years later, we're good. I'm like, all right, cool.
Human nature is hilarious.
Dad's Girl Clothing on YouTube says, my hubby and twin brother have not spoken in over 20 years over money.
That'll do it.
How much money we talking about? There's got to be like a limit, Damon. Like it's like
it could be, that 20
$100.
Hey man,
500,000.
It ain't the amount. It's the principle. It's why I gave you the 20. You know, well for me, when I gave you that 20, you wouldn't have got home that night, and my sister would have found out you was out tricking. But no, I gave you the $20 and saved your marriage, and you can't give me my $20 back.
And you used it to get that scratcher that made you a millionaire. George Wallace said, George, your mama dead. George said, I haven't spoken to my mom in over 30 years.
It would be more impressive if she speaks to you, sir.
Right.
You think you holding a grudge?
She back out to you, letting you know. So.
But imagine she around here haunting everybody else and not stopping by your house.
Right. All right. Thanks everybody for participating. George Wallace, you're crazy as ever. Gentlemen, I really appreciate your perspective on this. And let's move to trending topics. Damon, let's start with you. I don't want to make you angry. What are your dates that you have coming up? Where are you going? What you doing?
Oh, won't be angry at all. This weekend, Orlando Improv, the 10th and 11th, followed by the Columbus Funny Bone, the 17th and 18th. That's Columbus, Ohio. Then I'll be back home at Riddles. This weekend at Riddles, T to the K is at the club. TK Kirkland always sells that. It's his 5th annual. He does this weekend every year. It's his 5th annual. So that'll be great. I'll be there Sunday. We're actually doing a show after Super Bowl at Riddles. Okay. So for those you football widows who, don't want to be.
So what is that, like about 9:30, 10 o'clock?
We're going to say doors, the show at 8, but it'll start when it starts,
Got it.
Football widows.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or widowers.
Yeah. There are some that don't, it's people that don't really watch the game. After Rihanna, they be looking for something to do. So stay home till halftime. By then you can make your way to Riddles, ladies.
Or you don't want to go to the house right away. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Sadly, 1 month ago today was the police stop and beating of Tyree Nichols. 1 month ago today.
Okay.
A total of 13 Memphis police employees have been investigated in relation to the death of the 29-year-old man. The names of 6 of those officers, all of whom have been fired, have already been made public. The rest have ongoing internal investigations, so they will not reveal their names. Information about the administrative charges and personnel actions regarding the others will likely be available towards the end of the week. This is according to the district attorney. I believe his name is a city attorney, and her name is Jennifer Sink. Said that they have received documentation of the charges and gone through a required hearing. And they had a committee meeting held at City Hall, came on this day, in which 1 month after Tyree Nichols was beaten, tased, and pepper sprayed by officers after being pulled over for an alleged traffic violation. And of course, he died 3 days later on January 10th. In the meeting, council members questioned why the names of all officers present on the scene of Nichols' beating had not been made public, why the Memphis Fire Department did not see the video of the beating until 2 days before it was made public, and how the police department plans to address what went wrong on January 7th. So a lot of questions are being answered. I'm not sure if they are getting the answers that they want or feel that they deserve, but this is something that's not going to stop. But my question to you is, this is an investigation, and it needs to go deep and it needs to go wide in terms of thoroughness of getting some answers. But do you think that there are other cities that are looking at this now going, dang, we really need to make some changes here? Where do we start? Or do you think that goes, we're good. Let's just hope that this never happens to us in our city?
No, you know how this is. I mean, this is the same for every company, or
right.
Whenever something big like this happens and it becomes a big news, everybody tightens up. Mm-hmm. Everybody, hey, let's look over our policies, make sure our policies are straight, make sure this never happens to us. So I think every single, and I've heard some interviews of different chiefs in different cities talking about what they're doing within their precinct to get things right and to make sure that this doesn't happen to them. You're hearing more Scorpion units being disbanded across the country. Yeah. No one wants to be the Memphis Police Department again. Mm-hmm. It's crazy because this one is so different than the rest that we've heard about. Even we never heard any kind of reform coming from George Floyd. You didn't really even hear anything about that. But this, you're hearing police. We do not want to be them. Right, you know what I'm saying? Right. We do not want to have a situation like that. Like this situation with Mr. Nichols is like more in the minds of the police is more heinous than what happened to George Floyd. Yeah. Like they can't have that happen on their watch.
Right. So let me ask you this: in Atlanta, where the Scorpion unit started under
Red Dogs.
Okay, is it still in existence? Are you hearing anything about that?
No, that's gone. Okay. That's it. That's gone.
Well, Chicago used to have a notorious squads in the community. We just called them the Jump Out Boys. They stay in unmarked units, and they didn't follow rules. And if the Jump Out Boys pulled you over, like you could be speeding, and I got pulled over by them, and they were like, "We're not out here for that. We don't write tickets. Don't worry about your license. We out here for different reasons. They out at the gangs or drugs." And these units become hyperactive within the community. They're like police above the police. They're like the Black Ops. They're the Navy SEALs, not to disparage the Navy SEALs of the police department. But I think still systemically it will exist because the changes that they're talking about making, even as you put them, were to protect their liability, not to be more compassionate to the citizens or the so-called suspects. So the reason why they're tightening it up is to keep from getting sued or being embarrassed, more so than having a mindset change where they're more compassionate and they treat people in a more humane fashion in these stops.
And that's the problem with policing in general. It's like, people ask why, how can we fix this? How can we change this? I'm like, you can't change biases.
Right.
You can't change a human being's biasness towards another human being. If this person is raised to think and be fearful of Black people or think that Black people are only going to do this, there's nothing that you can do to change that. It is what it is.
It is what it is, and I don't know if there are any psychological evaluations that are going to be able to detect this, and so we might just be in a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah, but more so in this case, what needs to be looked at further is the fact there's not the bias, it's the above the law mentality that they have, because these are Black men beating a Black man. So what do you say to that? You can't say it's just because they're racist. You got to say it's because policing overall is set up improperly. Their methods and their motives are set up improperly, and their mindset and their mentality is that they're above citizens, and they're not. They're supposed to serve and protect. They believe they are end all be all when they take the streets, and you're supposed to obey their every command. And they are viciously cussing and yelling at people for minor traffic issues. And we're talking about old ladies, for them to even have the audacity to talk to people the way they speak to. If you ever interact with a police officer, if he doesn't like your tone, he automatically becomes authoritative and demeaning towards you, and then flexes authority by threatening you with his policing powers. Right. That's what needs to be changed, the mentality of the systemic thought process of policing
and racism against our own.
Yeah,
I got pulled over today by a Black cop, and I did my routine. I rolled down my windows and let him come see us. he said he thought, he said, I saw your head down, so you were on your phone, and I'm just like, there's no way in heck you could see if I was on my phone or not.
Right.
I didn't really argue. I'm just like, man, and it just so happened that I had my laptop open on my seat. I'm like, no, you didn't see that. My laptop made some noise, and I looked down at it, and that was it. And he's like, okay, no problem. He took my ID, gave it back, and said, have a nice day. But seeing that it was a black cop getting out, and we just had that discussion last week, I was like, I wonder what this is about. You know what I'm saying?
He could see the breast bouncing on your screen. That's why he pulled you over. He's like, hey, man, come on now. You can't be driving and watching this. Big black booty 12. You can't do both, brother.
Oh my God.
You
had your whole laptop open.
Yeah, I had the whole laptop open. Now I'm looking back. I'm like, this looks real bad.
This is not.
I'd wrote you a ticket for that. You don't be having a computer. A phone is one thing.
Open.
A whole laptop.
Yeah. You just took me.
And it wasn't even what he could see. It was that music he could hear.
Okay, let's move to a more unusual topic. Here we are at Super Bowl week. As you mentioned, Damon, you got an event going on, a show after the Super Bowl on Sunday. Battle of the brother quarterbacks, Mahomes versus Hurts. Who you got?
Sort of brothers.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Oh, come on.
Don't do
Damon.
that. You've seen his daddy. You've seen his daddy.
Yeah, but that's the saving grace. That's the saving grace. But he don't even act like the way he sided with the whole against Black Lives Matter and blah, 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 blah. You don't know, politically, I'm not giving him brother status. He might be black, but he ain't a brother, in my opinion. So I'm going with Philly. Plus, they're going to win anyway. Philly going to win because I think Cincinnati would have had a better shot at beating the Eagles because Kansas City has some injuries. They're not at full strength, so they pulled out a rabbit out the hat to make it to the Super Bowl. But we shall see. I could be wrong about all that. First of all, he could be Ungawa Black Power off the scenes, and they could win the game.
Would he be Ungawa Black Power with Becky?
Well, that's usually how it works. Most revolutionaries have a snow bunny. How's she gonna stick it to the man if you don't get one of his daughters?
Oh, God.
Hey, I feel bad for Mahomes because, between his brother and his wife,
God,
he became so unlikable. I'm like, he's like, are you gonna divorce or leave her? Are you gonna tell? He's like, look, guys, when he has to answer questions about your brother and your wife in your post game, it's like, they did what?
No, did you see me pass? Did you see me?
I was they did what? I ain't got no comment on that. I think I've been going back and forth. This is such an intriguing matchup, and I'm not gonna lie. What's been more interesting to me this week has been the actual brothers, the Kelsey brothers.
Yes,
they have a podcast, and it's been hilarious. They talk to their father. They talked to their mother. The mother came up last night with
she was a big media star.
Oh my gosh, it's been amazing, and it's been entertaining as all get out. Watching the Kelsey brothers and their families deal with all of this.
They're both offensive players, and so the mom said, "Who are you going to cheer for?" The loud she goes, "Whoever has the ball, that's what I'm cheering for." Yeah,
she wants the highest scoring Super Bowl of all time, and they asked her who she's going to hug first. She's like, the winner, because they allow us only to come down to the winner, to the families on the field of the winning team. So she goes, obviously we're going to make it down to the field regardless of what happens. Right. But then I'm going to go see the other son and have to deal with that. So it's a very interesting situation. But again, when you have two boys in the NFL and some of the best, probably future Hall of Famers, that's something. But when it comes to Mahomes and Hurts, you kind of feel yourself rooting for Hurts. I feel like Mahomes is going to be back here, and this might, you never know what Hurts, if this is going to be his only chance or whatever. But I think I'm pulling for Hurts, but I think Kansas City's going to win.
I like Jalen Hurts. My family's from Kansas City, Kansas, not Missouri. So I do have that allegiance, but I really like Jalen Hurts, and
you ain't the only one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Jalen Hurts about to have a Will Smith level increase of popularity after the Super Bowl win.
Yeah. And they're just glad to see who his girlfriend was. They don't know anything about her, but they were just glad.
They weren't happy about that.
Well, the women that I talked to, because
the cool thing about his alleged girlfriend is that she's a very successful woman.
Very accomplished.
She's in the tech industry. Don't need his money.
MBA.
The girl got her own money. So
well, I tell you what, I don't know who's gonna win the game, but if there's a fight afterward, I know what fans are gonna win, and that's Philly. So let's hope they win.
For sure.
Because Philadelphia fans are notorious in every arena, no matter what. It's sports, entertainment. It doesn't
matter if it's Glendale, Arizona, or downtown Philly.
No.
Let me tell you, there's a notorious video of Bill Burr getting booed in Philly. Please, everyone watch it, because he stood his ground. He's a white boy from Boston, so he's got a thick skin. But they let him have it, and he just took it for 5 minutes and relished it. Watch that Bill Burr booed in Philly video.
Is a pretty good comedian.
A hilarious comedian. Yeah. He's top flight.
Let's move to entertainment, and I moved this to entertainment because I want to give you a little bit of time, just in case you guys have an extra $100,000 hanging around and you want to see LeBron James, who is on the brink of breaking the NBA scoring record, expected to break it, and fans eager to watch the Lakers star vault into sports history. Lower level seats for the Tuesday game at the Crypto.com arena against Oklahoma City start at $1,067 a piece. That according to Vivid Seats. That's the low level. That's
Oh, okay. Got you.
The floor seats from Ticketmaster are going between $415 and $1,000. The average ticket price for a Lakers game jumped 211% since the season started. And they say that this is going to be interesting, and for I guess on the floor, $100,000 or more. They're going to be looking to get that kind of money as he marches towards history.
And once he breaks the record, you'll be able to get Lakers tickets at the gas station.
Because it's kind of like going to a Bulls game back in the day.
The Tim Floyd era. Yeah, you can give me two.
They're not going anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. I'm really happy for LeBron. I'm wondering what this does to somebody's head like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who has had records and all of this, and now he's going to go beyond Abdul-Jabbar. What do you think this does to somebody like the captain who has? And I ask this because watching what was it? The Lakers series that they had on HBO.
And winning season.
His headspace is just kind of different from anybody else's, I think. And I'm just wondering if you think he's happy for LeBron or kind of in his feelings.
I don't know.
No, he's expressed grumpiness on many occasions as of late. And being, kind of anti against a lot of things, not to cut you off, man. But there's no way he's going to celebrate, high five him or none of that. He might not even show up to the game. I think it's really unfortunate that how we're being gouged in society for these events like the Beyonce tickets and things like that, where the average fans can enjoy experiences. You might want your son to be at that game, but there's no way you're going to be able to afford these tickets, So it's really, they've lost sight of what they're doing these things for, and the money is taking over. But no way Kareem is gonna send. He might tweet, "So what?" or something like that. Kareem gonna be like Chris Brown. Who the f is Robert Glasper?
Man. But thankfully, Chris Brown apologized, and Kareem said that he's going to cheer on LeBron, be at the game. He's going to be at the game today and the game on Thursday, just in case LeBron doesn't pass him tonight. So,
what? I should have asked this in connection with our question of the day. The apology that Chris Brown gave to Robert Glasper, and I hate this apology. He said, "I'm sorry if what I said offended you." You know damn good and well you are an offensive SO gun.
Yeah. And the apology got even better after that, when he said we're not even supposed to be in the same category. I'm
Right.
like, Chris,
Dude.
where are we going? Where are we going?
Well, I mean, what he meant by that is like Robert Glasper is very melodic and neo soul, and Chris Brown makes garbage. So he didn't really want him to be in the garbage category with him. Like, man, you make real music. You know, I'm over here making backflip garbage. You know, so
and I'm breaking records, not faces. Okay,
right.
All right. Okay, all right. So
someone suggested that Chris Brown not only do his research but also book a studio session with Robert Glasper and see what he's about, which he is from this area, by the way.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Homeboy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Chris. Guys, thank you so much. It's been a fun day. I appreciate the conversation, as you know. And I want to thank you all again for running the show last week as we were in traveling hell. And we finally did get to New York, by the way, on Thursday.
Bless your heart.
So thank you so much. We're going to close out with Yogi's Jewel, our daily inspiration. And this is interesting as we are talking about holding grudges and friendships. Forgiveness is the answer to the folly of perfection. So take that there, Chris Brown. And one more thing before we go, we are going to the CIAA, everyone. And stay tuned, watch, see how you can join us.
Hey.
Join us for action-packed games as the best men and women ballers take over Baltimore for the 2023 CIAA Basketball Championships this February 21st to the 25th. Experience it all on your schedule. Buy your general admission ticket for the game of your choice and join us to create new legacies. Bring your friends, family, sorors, and frat to experience tip-offs, dunks, and nail-biting buzzer beaters all tournament long. Single session tickets available at CIAAtournament.org. Don't miss out.
Take care, everybody. Thanks,
Hey.
man. See you, Damon. See you soon. Aloha.
Holla.